champs. It was like getting on that Chrysler. It's like, golly, man, what I gotta do? Like, I know Stan Woody.
Right.
Please, Stan, give me the app.
That is crazy. Ready?
Yep.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a sober edition of Across the Table, where the water is cold, the mics are hot, and the conversations are going to be fire. Sitting across the table from me, one of my oldest friends. This man sat next to me when we walked across the stage at Stranahan Theater in 1998.
Yes, sir. Long time ago.
Long time. Sitting across the table from me, Ty, the insurance guy. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you, bro?
I am well, man.
Good to hear, man.
Now, like I always start this off, I always ask, how are you?
Man, I am good, actually, man. I mean, you know, through the whole pandemic, stuff got a little squirrely, but I'm good now, man. You know, starting a business literally the month before the world shut down can do a little thing to you, but I'm good now, man. You know, business is doing well, family's healthy, so I'm good.
Nice.
I'm good.
Okay, now you do insurance,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Do you do all insurance?
I'm currently doing life right now. In about a week or so, I'll have my license to do renters, auto, business, and all the other stuff.
Okay.
So I'm trying to become a one-stop shop.
Nice.
Pretty much cover everything.
Nice. Very nice. If one wanted to go into that, where would they start? Man,
going into insurance is probably one of the easiest and cheapest things to start for the potential earning you can make, man. I mean, I think I paid $42 for the test, $70 for my fingerprints, and then I think I might have paid like $150 for the study material. And after that, you're good to go.
Word.
Yeah, and if you start with a company, like, you know, if you start like a State Farm, you know, some of these places, they'll pay for you to take your class.
Word.
And pay for your test. Yep. Mm-hmm. So that you know, it's easy to get into, man. I wish I would have listened to my wife and did it 10 years ago when she asked me about it. But you know, you hear sales and it's like, oh man, you think Wolf of Wall Street, like I'm not that dude, you know? It's like I was working and I was selling cable. And I'm sitting at my desk one day and I'm like, man, if I can sell overpriced cable,
I'm glad you put that caveat in there.
I definitely can sell life insurance, man. So I put a matter of fact, went on Indeed, filled out an app for Bankers Life. They contacted me within a day. And they actually paid for my for my licensing. They paid for my study material. So I only had to pay for the test and my fingerprints. And that was probably $200 worth of material I got for free.
Word.
And yeah, man. And it's an incredible industry to be in, man. I was reading, it's where insurance agents are in the top 8 of millionaires in the country.
Sheesh.
Yep. Insurance it's a big business, man. It's a big business, man. It's very lucrative. Very lucrative.
I'm glad you said that. It's a big business. How hard is it to treat it as a business, meaning you need to make money, but also make the right decision for the client to make sure that they're fully covered too? Because there are a lot of insurance companies that
they'll snake you for
like
sure.
You wilding, like you really wilding.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that so that way you can have a clear conscience but still do your job?
Man, I look at it this way. I don't like to say sell. I would never put anybody into a policy that I wouldn't feel comfortable if somebody sold it to my mom or my wife or somebody I know.
That's an old retail rule.
Yeah. You know, so I know if you making, you know, if you working part-time somewhere, I would never come at you and say, hey man, you need a $2 million life insurance policy, because it's going to be great because I'll make a good commission off of it. But end of the day, you can't afford it. So if you can't afford it, it's gonna cancel. So it's really no point. You know, it's best talking to people, figuring out, you know, hey, what are you looking to do? You know, how much are you looking to spend? That's always number one question.
Right.
You know, and like I tell people with insurance, the younger you are, the cheaper it's gonna be. You know, once you get up in a certain age, the price goes up a little bit, but you know, like I quoted a young lady, she's 33 and she wanted $100,000 worth of insurance. And it was only, I think, $36 a month. So
that's it.
That's it for, I mean, and
Now, when you quote, what are the components that go into how you quote rates?
quoting a rate is pretty much to just say, okay, you're 40 years old and you want $250,000 worth of insurance. I plug it in. I go, see, I'm independent. So I don't have, like, I'm not aligned with one company. So I work with 12 companies now. So I can go through, and that's the good thing. I can go through and I can, 40 years old, 250, and all these different companies that give me quotes. So I present the quotes to them and say, hey, these are what we got. How do you feel about this? Do you want to go up? Do you want to go down? How does that work? Then after that, you go through, and it's pretty much standard health stuff. They ask, do you smoke? Do you skydive? Making sure you're not punching alligators or nothing like that. But they check your health. Make sure you're not. The only thing that's really hard to insure is people who have, and not even through all companies, people who have active cancer. That's pretty much the hardest one I have. But to that same token, I have a company who works with that. So if I can't get you through to company A, I have them where I say, okay, we can't do this, but I have this. So it's just pretty much all it is health, age, and they want to make sure you don't live a risky lifestyle. That's why they ask that you race cars, skydive, ride motorcycles, stuff like that. So there's not much to it. Okay. People hear insurance, it's a lot. They think it's a lot worse than it really is. It's not that bad.
It's one of those things that you never know you need until you need it.
Yep.
But you constantly paying for it during the times you don't need it. Yep. So it feel like you don't need it
until you do. Yep. It's just like, I don't do car insurance yet, but it's like, hey, you got to pay your car insurance every month. But if you don't get in an accident, you feel like you're wasting your money. But then as soon as somebody tear your car up, now you're glad you got it.
Right.
So, and insurance, I look at it as for your family, man. I get it. It's a bill, but you have to think the long game, and with life insurance, I've learned here probably in the last year since I've been on my own, man, there's so many ways that you can use life insurance. I learned a prime example from Candy Burris, of all people. She was talking about, it's great, O.J. Simpson. So it's a Real Housewife of Atlanta talking about O.J. Simpson and life insurance. But when all this stuff happened with O.J., when he got on that trouble, O.J. took his money and he bought it and he put in the life insurance, because life insurance, they can't come after you in court. They can't tax it. They can't sue. That's why when those people won, they took all O.J.'s stuff, because they couldn't go after O.J.'s money. So now O.J. has all these prepaid up life insurance policies that you can set it up to say, hey, I need $150,000 every 2 months. And that's just the way they pay you out. No tax. They can't sue you. The government can't come after it. Nothing. So that's how OJ is out here kicking it on golf courses on Twitter, because he put his money in life insurance, man. It's crazy.
So, damn, man, I just learned something.
Yeah. Like, have you seen the interview with Waka Flocka, and he was talking about how he's trying to become his own bank?
I heard it, but I didn't see it.
What he's doing is, people like him, Waka Flocka could take $2 million and buy a $100,000 life insurance policy. So what it is what he paid for it is his cash value. So he put $2 million into it, but the death benefit would be, if he bought a $2 million policy, probably about about $10 million policy. So then what happens is, the money he has in there, he can borrow that. You don't have to check his credit. You don't have to go to the bank, do nothing. So say you got $2 million you got set up, or make it reasonable, you got $100,000 in a policy. Say you decide, I want to buy a rental property for $20,000. You buy the rental property, or you flip a house. You buy the house for $20,000, take out of your insurance that you already paid up. Take that, buy the house. You sell the house for $80,000 after you fix it up. Everything you get back, you just dump in. So you made a profit off of money that's already yours, that's already growing interest while you making the money.
And that's not illegal?
No. And that's the thing. It sounds like it, but it's not.
It really is.
That's what Walt Disney started off life insurance. The Rockefellers made their empire off life insurance. Even Master P, No Limit, started off with, I think he got $10,000 from his aunt dying from life insurance. Man, it's so many ways you like. Even say you buy a house,
right?
That's where term and whole life comes into play. Say you buy a house, you got a 30-year mortgage. You buy a $150,000 house, get you a 30-year, $200,000 term policy. Something never happened to you, your wife, or whatever. They pass away. That life insurance policy pays for the house. So that way, you don't, if you pass away, you're not leaving your significant other or your kids with worrying about paying your house off. And so then by the time you pass away, within those 30 years, your house still don't cost $150,000. So what you get is all profit. Man, it's ways, man. It's the cheat code if you really think about it.
Okay, you said two things. You said term and life, right?
Whole life. What it is, term, and there's whole life.
What's the difference?
Term is exactly what term goes for a certain amount of time. You can go 10, 20, 30 years.
Okay.
So if you get a 20-year term, you paying for your insurance. And then 20 years from now, nothing happens to you. You still good and healthy. But after that term, it expires. Whereas whole life, you buy it and you got it for the rest of your life. That's why it's whole life. But term, it's ways to do both. I tell people, if you want to start and you don't have anything, and term generally is cheaper, but sometimes depending on the term you get, the prices can raise on you as you go older.
Right. But
term is a good place to start. But I wouldn't keep a term because I was online reading, and 97% of term policies insurance companies never pay them, for either people outlive the term or they're so cheap and people forget about it, stop paying it, and then the term goes away. So, I mean, for maybe a couple dollars more, get something, and with term, you can't borrow against it. Whereas whole life, you can borrow against your cash value on it. So it's like having, and then, you never want to put yourself on a clock. It's like, okay, right. I got 30 years for this life insurance, I'm at year 28. Like, okay, something got to happen,
right.
But yeah, so I say it's ways to work both, but there's definitely two options. It's something is better than nothing. But if you can do term, I would say try to look for something comparable with whole, because whole works better for you.
Whole would make sense because it's for your whole life.
It's for your whole life, yeah. But like I said, term, a lot of times the stuff you see on TV where they're telling you, hey, you can get $100,000 for $9 a month. That's
why I asked you that question earlier, because I see those. Oh my, really?
Yeah.
You gonna give me $100,000, and it sounds on surface.
Yeah,
it sounds like I'm getting a lot, but
you're not. And what it is, the $9.95 is to pretty much get me either in your house or on the phone with you, so I can say, well, how do you feel about that? And once I tell you about it, you're not gonna want it, but it's like, oh, well, I can get you. So
it's an upsell.
Exactly. It's an upsell. Yeah. Retail term. Upsell. Yes. Yeah. And then what they don't tell you is it starts at $9.95. 10 years down the line, it price jumps. So then by the time you start off paying $9, and by the time you get done with it, and it's a term. So by the time you get done with it, you could be up to $50. And then they offer it to older people, and older people, once they outlive the policy, then what? You just sunk all your money into something that you can't get back.
Wow.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But I offer a company I have, they have a term policy where it's called a return on premium, which is like a glorified savings account pretty much. So say you get a 30-year term, every premium you pay every month, at the end of that term, they give it all back to you.
Really?
Yeah. So like, you paid into it, and say you get a $50,000 policy. By the time you pay all into it after your 30 years, you probably getting between $25,000 to $30,000 back. And again, it's tax free. Government can't touch it. Do what you want to do with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching this back.
Yeah, man. It's ways to do everything with life insurance, man.
And you and I are going to be in touch.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, the ones I've really got, because I'm only on, this will be my second year on my own. So, you know, now I'm doing the research. You know, I'm a podcast junkie. If it's a podcast, I'm here for it. So you learn much.
You know what I'm about. We was talking about this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know. I know.
We got on the set.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I need to do one. I got a mic. Got a computer. Got a YouTube page. I just got to put all of it together.
Man, make it happen.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
But yeah, man, it's like I said, it's so many. And like I said, it's the way people get rich, but it's something that hasn't been presented to us. Because like you said, when you hear it, you're like, can you do that? Absolutely. It's people doing it for years, man.
This is why I started this. Mm-hmm. Because there's knowledge out there that we have that nobody knows about.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like,
yep.
That's crazy.
And then like I said, insurance is everywhere, man. And it's like,
do your thing. I'm about to.
Insurance is everywhere, man. You can get, like I said, you cover your cell phone. Why not cover your life? It's the same price, pretty much. Like I said, you'd be surprised. The biggest deterrent for people is it's expensive. When in actuality, it's not.
$35 a month. I blow that on fast food.
People,
weekly.
Man, you blow it on fast food, Starbucks. I helped a guy. He's a barber. Young dude in his 20s, $60,000 policy, less than a haircut. I said, see, you cut one head a month. You paid for your life insurance.
You paid your policy.
That's it. And whenever I tell people how much it costs, their first response is always, what? I said, yeah. So
see, I can see the misconception because they look at this huge number and they're like, all right, they looking at it like it's a loan.
Exactly. And it's nowhere near the same thing. It's nowhere near the same thing. Yep.
Because there's no interest on it, is it? It's just you putting money away.
You just pretty much, that's all. And if you, it's the easiest thing to do if you think about it. Why not pay an affordable premium every month for something if something were to happen to you, you won't be able to get your hands on a hot $50,000.
Right.
To where, okay, I'm paying maybe $25, $30 a month. But then if something were to happen to me, my wife, my kids, whomever, they getting an amount of money that I wouldn't have been able to give them. So why not? Because it cuts down on, and no offense to nobody, but it makes my skin crawl with all the GoFundMes. Because it's like, for what you're asking every person to donate, if you would have just got an insurance policy, and you hate to say it, with the way these kids is wilding out here now,
it's like they living like it's Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly. And it's like, man, I put a post up a couple weeks ago, man. Like, if you a parent and you got a child between 16 and 25,
you
need to get some life insurance.
It's the youngins wilding out.
And I mean, like I said, it's cheap. And they go by your health. So when you 16 years old, 16 to 25, you in the best shape of your life.
Yep.
Your knees ain't went bad.
Right.
Your back ain't went out. So it's like, that covers you. Because if something happened to them, it's on you. So it's ways to take care of. Like, I discovered there's life insurance you can do for purses, watches, artwork, all kind of stuff. So that's like in the movies when it's art, people steal paintings and stuff. It's like, what are they doing? Insurance money.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It's like all the 2020s you see when they kill people and they always say they took $1 million insurance policy out. That's what.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It's a fun industry to be in, man. It's a fun industry to be in.
You need a podcast. And you need a podcast solely on this.
Yeah. I follow some guys in Alabama and I met one and I learned so much from just when I first started listening to them. And it's like, in our community, there are no people talking like this or talking about this.
Right.
There's a lot of other things, people start businesses doing everything else, but life insurance is something like people think, I got time, and another thing also, you can start a policy and any kind of health crisis you may run into, cancer, anything. If you already covered, you covered. So, if you start a policy 5 years down the line, you develop cancer of some kind, or you get high blood pressure or anything, you're still covered. That's not something now you got to worry about. Okay, now I got to go find a place that's going to charge me more because I have health issues. You already covered. Do it when you're young. That way you good for life.
Nobody taught us this.
Nobody. They don't teach us that kind of stuff, man. It's, and I was blown away when I started doing it because I had never heard of it.
That's crazy.
Yep. So many ways and so many things you can do.
Like, this legitimately gave me something to think about.
Yeah. But another thing, you got my mind flipping now.
Keep going.
I learned it's called a buy-sell agreement. Say me and you start a business. And me and you both, I take $150,000 policy out on you. You take it out on me. We write it up, get it notarized that while we run this business, if I were to pass away, the policy you have on me turns into essentially my buyout. So what it does is, you take the money you have on me and say, okay, Monica, this is what I have on Tyrone. This, and if Monica don't want to be a part of the business anymore. Okay, Monica, we decided here's $150,000. That's to buy Tyrone's portion of the business. She gives it to you. You give it her $150. She go about her business. You keep the business going. That way is, if there's people when you own a business and Lord forbid something happens to you, say you have employees, say you have, this is a business, it's a viable business, and you pass away and your significant other doesn't want to run it anymore, that still takes care. Your business keeps going. Your employees still have a job, and your wife gets something out of it. So that was another thing I picked up.
So you can put out a policy on a business too? You
can put out a policy. It wouldn't be, you can definitely can get business insurance, but a buy-sell agreement is all it is it's a life insurance policy. Me and you pay for mine, I pay for yours. So it's essentially, I have life insurance on you, you have life insurance on me. So whoever passes away first through the course of owning this business, we get it notarized, hey, if one of us goes, this is the buyout we agreed on. So you take this money to my family and then you become the sole owner of this business. That's their buyout. She don't want to be bothered with it. That's what she takes. You keep it. That's essentially buying me out. Now it's all yours. That way, everything keeps going.
Wow.
And again, that's just another step that we don't know about. Yeah, man. It's man, I'm telling you.
There's so much knowledge out here that we don't have.
We have no idea about.
That is so essential.
Very essential, man. And it's essential and affordable.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
And you know how people fall out about money, man. You know how that go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I say insurance is important. Having a will is also important. You can go on Google and pull up will templates for free. That way, when you go, they not arguing about, well, mama said I could have her fur coat. No, mama said I could,
You put it in a piece of paper.
Right. I bought this couch, so no.
Yeah.
Mama said I get this, and that's how that goes. That way, you saving your family. You got them taken care of financially. All your wishes have to be done this way. That way, you're not going through the grieving process, worrying about money, worrying about, okay, well, she arguing because she want this, he arguing because he want that, clean it up early. And then with a will, you can always go change it. You can always adjust it. And that's my stance on wills.
All right.
That's all I have to say about that.
Go. That toast the water. You got that shit right. Toast the water. All right, now I want to segue a little bit. Because brought up your wife, brought up your family.
Yes, sir.
You and your wife have been together for as long as we've been adults.
Yeah, pretty much. Senior year of high school, that's what, 98?
98.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I ask every married man this one question. How did you know in 1998? Or actually, how long have y'all been married?
We got married in 2005. So it's be 17 years this year.
How did you know that she was going to be the one that you were going to spend the rest of your life with?
It's a two-part.
What did she do?
I met her in yearbook class in Rogers High School, and she always carried herself in a different way. She was always a lot more mature than her age, even in high school, and it intrigued me. And tried to talk to her, shot down. And I was playing football at the time, and so her brother played at the time.
Big Ken,
Keith
and little
and Ken was a coach.
Keith and Ken.
So Keith told on me once she finally gave me a number. He was talking on the phone. Keith told on me.
Told
Ken that he was like, Tyrone talk on the phone to Monica. Ken made me run laps every day after practice.
Oh no.
And then one day, I don't know who told. Keith must have told his mom. And her mom called Ken and made him make me stop every day. Like practice be over. He's like, where you going? Five times around the track every day.
Was it punishment or was it to see what you was made of?
I don't know, man. I think it was both, man. I think I still talk to him about. You know what? I never asked him to this day. I've never asked him why, but I kind of get it because I got a little sister, and if I would probably do the same thing. I probably would do the same thing. So we got together my senior year. So fast forward. So I joke around. I tell her the moment I knew that she was the one. Growing up, I was Jay-Z everything. Rockefeller Records, everything. So when Jay-Z retired 4 or 5 albums ago,
right.
He was going on a tour with R. Kelly.
Best of both worlds.
Yes. And you remember they fell out.
Yeah.
And so they were going to Detroit. I didn't think nothing about it. She came and surprised me and got us tickets to the concert. And it was probably 8 rows from the stage, man.
Word.
And man, I said that was the best show I've ever been to. And I said, and from that moment, I was like, this girl is different. And just like I said, the way she carried herself, man, like I said, she was like nothing I had ever seen before. And it intrigued me in a way like I need to find out more about her. And now it's crazy because I can honestly say, except if, you grow up a little bit, but she carries herself the same way now at 40 that she carried herself when I met her at 18. And that woman has been probably the single best thing that's ever happened to me.
Wow.
Yep. I can say that with no doubt.
Hoped.
The single best thing, man.
I'm gonna ask you a difficult question because it might be difficult to put into words.
What's that?
What does that feel like? If you could give me an analogy, what does that feel like? To know, like, hey, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with you.
It's a sense of peace, because as men, we always want to find peace in all situations. No man wants to have to be worried and stressed and all this. And she gives me a feeling of peace in my soul that I know if anything happens, I know she has my back. She cares about me. She cares about our relationship. And it's a calming feeling, man. It just, like you said, I can't really describe it, but I know how I feel because I feel it every day. But it's just like to know. Remember on episode of Martin when Pam and Tommy told him that they was dating, and he was like, "I'm so happy you got somebody that got you." That's it, to make it sound silly, but that's what it is, man. It's just to know that you have a person that has you and you have her. Like, man, I mean, I can look at her across a room and know everything she thinking. She know everything I'm thinking. You know, we can. It sounds cheesy, but we can finish each other's sentences, man. It's just it's a flow to your life, man. That you just, once you have it, man, it's something you have, and you know you have it. When it's something you have and you know, I never want this feeling to end. That's what I'll say. Yeah, it's something when you have it, you know you have it, because it's something you say, I never want to be without this feeling again. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, man, that girl, I was young, crazy, man.
We all were.
Yeah. Yep. And when you have a woman like that, it forces you to mature more, because you like, I gotta step up for this one.
I was gonna ask that question too.
Yeah.
Because the role of husband, what's that like? As far as the facilitation of everything.
It's being a husband, man. It's a lot of people have a lot of views on it, and I can't for sure say my role as husband is the same as his role as husband, or because it's all about your flow of your family. But I know the couple things that have to be, you have to be the protector of your home. And I mean that as far as your covering spiritually, emotionally, everything, man, because as the man of your house, especially when you have children in your house, they need to see you being protective of them, protective of their mom, protective of your home. And I think Brandon said it, man, I would take a bullet for everybody in my house with no second thought. None whatsoever. If John Wick walked through that door right now and it's them, I'm gonna have to take this. Y'all run, but I gotta take this. And you gotta be able to provide, and it's not, providing isn't just money. You have to know to provide. I was gonna
ask you to elaborate, because a lot of people think
on that too. Because I sell life insurance. I'm an entrepreneur, so financially, sometimes some weeks is amazing, some weeks are not, but you still have to provide emotionally for your wife, emotionally for your children, especially for your wife, man, because I had to learn that, because essentially my wife and I grew up together. We got married. I was 27. She was 25, so you learn a lot of life as you go through life. And, I had to learn how to be there emotionally, how not to be prideful, not being willing to step back in a situation and say, you know what, I was tripping. And I tell you, that's hard, man, because that's something you still work on every day, because when you married to somebody and it's just you and them every day, it's some stuff come across. You just look at them like, what are you thinking? And it's stuff that makes sense to us don't make sense to them, and vice versa. Right. So you have to take pride out of it and be willing to compromise and be willing to say, even sometimes, I had an older gentleman in our church tell me, sometimes, even if you're right, babe, you got it. You right. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be peaceful for your house, man. You got to pick your battles. Everything ain't a war.
Tyrion Lannister. Tyrion Lannister, ladies and gentlemen.
I drink water and I know things.
Man. He said it was a peaceful feeling.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of men in a lot of these circles, and a lot of men who are in these relationships, in these marriages, they always talk about how important peace is. What tangible thing does Monica do to bring you peace?
Oh my God. Whew. Man,
let me rephrase that.
Okay.
Does her bringing you peace have anything to do with anything she brings to you financially?
No.
Elaborate.
It's trying to think of how I can explain this, man. It's, as a man, to know that any given moment, like I joke around about this with her, you know, just to know that my kids are good, my house is okay. She always, like, I try to make her sit, you know, babe, I got it. I'll do it. No, I got it. You know, it's like, the shoot, it's like just her spirit in my life brings me calm. Like, I know if something happens to me and I'm high, I know I can call her and she's excited. If something happens to me and I'm low, I can call her and she knows what to say to me to bring me back to being level. And as men, it's nothing like having a woman that you don't have to constantly worry about fighting with, constantly worry about arguing with. But I will say this too. In order to want to receive peace, you have to be willing to project peace also. So you can't be out here, you know, doing any and everything you want to do and expect to have this woman that's making a peaceful situation for you.
Right.
So it's a two-way street, but man, it's like I've been with her for so long that we just know each other, you know, like, you know, we joke around like, you know, we can have a date night. We can go out and have a date night, or my wife has, and I'm not ashamed to say it, my wife has turned me into a Real Housewives connoisseur. I have sat down with her and Chris. I can't watch all of them, but some of them, I ain't gonna lie to you, they ain't that bad. But you know, it's like I said, it's compromise. Monica, she liked football because her brother coach. Monica watched every Steelers game with me. You know, if I'm watching she was watching the playoff game. Monica don't care about the playoffs. You know, we were watching something. Who was playing? Minnesota. And I was like, baby, don't anybody play for this team? She was like, now you know I don't know. She said, Kevin Garnett. I said, girl, Kevin Garnett is retired.
Wow.
She was like, that's the last person I knew.
At least she tried.
Yeah. Like the Pacers was on one time and she said, last Pacer I remember was Reggie Miller. I was
Reggie Miller.
But she don't care about that stuff. So, you know, she cared about it because I care about it. So that's how I got into, you know, the housewives stuff. You know, I sit and watch it with her. You know, would I rather be watching something else? Probably. But it's about a compromise. She enjoy it. I enjoy being with her. So therefore I enjoy it. So it's a two-way street with everything, man. You got to be willing to give. And once you open yourself up to be more giving, you'll see how much more your wife would be willing to give back to you.
Wow.
So, and it took me a while to learn that, man. It's a long time, you know, because
equivalent exchange, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, because people feel like, you know, a lot of guys, you know, not to quote our dearly departed brother, but a lot of these guys are, you know, well, I'm an alpha male. I'm a high value man. So therefore, you should just be doing these things for me. And that's not how that works. Because if that's the case, you want an employee and not a wife. So it's compromise. You got to bend, she got to bend, and then you just come together in the middle. Been working for 17 years thus far.
Right. That's about the easiest way.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is it sounds easy.
It's not.
But there's a difference between something being easy and something being simple.
Yes.
All the stuff that you described is simple, but it ain't easy to do.
No, it's not easy to do at all.
It ain't easy to do.
Because like I said, man, you a person. You have your own opinion. She have her own opinion. And you're married. So it's like, I can't get mad at you and leave. I live here. You know, you live here. You know, we share the same bedroom. So it's like, there's only so much of ignoring a person in the same house you can do.
Right.
You know, and then after a while, it just becomes silly. Like, you know, I know you see me. You know, you're on the couch.
Right.
I'm right here. You know, so
Right.
it's
Like, what is this?
yeah. It ain't worth it after a while.
And I'm glad you brought up the high value man part. Because what a lot of people don't understand about that is that you got a lot of middle class dudes putting their middle class opinion on lifestyles that they can't
That they
afford.
have nothing to do with.
That they have nothing to do with.
Yeah.
This is why I don't have a dog in this fight.
Yeah. These cats are swimming in waters you ain't never gonna see.
Ever.
Man. And the real high value men don't call themselves have a high value man.
They don't have
because
to.
they're just who they are.
Right.
You know, and you can be a middle class dude and feel like you a high value man, and you should, you know, but I could never see myself telling a woman, hey, my name is Tyrone. I own an insurance company. I'm a high value man. You know, it's like, what? It's like,
see, I know that there's rules
yes.
to everything. And I know that one rule is that if you don't know what you're talking about, shut up.
It always applies.
That's why I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't even bring up the term. I know.
See, look, the wife is texting me now. What are you doing? Podcasting. But go ahead.
See. Now, we went all the way. Let's. What's it like being a father? How is that?
Man, outside of becoming a husband, man, being a dad is probably my favorite thing. Because it's like, you got to think about it, man. It's like, I have 3 boys.
3.
Gavin is 15, Caleb is 13, and Max will be 7 on Sunday. So it's
all within your marriage, right?
Oh yeah. Everybody younger than, do the math. I've been married 16 years. My oldest is 15. So yeah, everybody came after we had rings. So, but
so you did it the right way.
Yeah, man. I told my wife, I said it was something really important to me growing up. And I always, because, growing up, my mom had me when she was 18 and all my best friends, their moms were the same. So we all grew up together. And then, to go on and then their moms get married. I said it was very important to me, and this is my own opinion, but it's very important to me to have all my children have the same last name and be in the same house with them, me and their mom. Because I want, if you see Gavin and you say McCain and you see Caleb, hey, are y'all? Yes. And that was really important to me. And it was the way I was raised, man, growing up in church. And it was just the way we was raised. So it's the way we did it. But having them, like, man, it's like I said, my son, it's like raising your own best friends. Like my middle son, he's the most like me. He looks like me, walks like me, everything. And it's amazing to see them become their own individuals, and you have a hand in that, and watching them grow up and, being their dad, and they love being around me. I love being around them. I took Max and Caleb. We went to see Doctor Strange Friday.
I still haven't seen that.
Crazy. Marvel movies are our thing. Like Caleb got here, I think probably the second. This is why I say how long we've been doing it. Caleb came with like Iron Man 2 came out, and we haven't missed one since. That's our thing. Black Panther came out. We went to see that midnight.
Really?
Endgame came out. We had school today, so we couldn't go to midnight. So we went as soon as as soon as that came out, we went. So it's funny to see. And even the stuff that they do that may get on your nerves. You look at it and you be like, I do that,
right.
And so it's just like watching 3 little yous walk around the house, man. I love it, man. I couldn't imagine my life without them. It's just, they've become like, I'm to the point now where like my oldest son, he has special needs. So Gavin is like his own person. Gavin is like a local celebrity. He's a Miracle Network kid. He had a cardboard cutout at Walmart, at Sam's, and it's to the point now where people are like, aren't you Gavin's? I'm not even myself anymore. I'm Gavin's dad. I'm Caleb's dad. I'm Maxwell's dad. I love it, man. I love it, man. It's hectic, but I love it.
I was going to ask, how do you balance work life, home life, insurer life, entrepreneur life, husband life?
Entrepreneur life has really helped me balance the work, because that's probably one of the big reasons that I decided to go into insurance, because with Gavin, with his medical needs, you always have to be pretty much, somebody has to be, the hands on. If something happens, I got to get to the school. I got to get here. And once he got to be bigger, Gavin's probably 5'8". I took him to the doctor. He's 119 pounds now. So he's too big for Monica to maneuver around. So we had fixed it where, okay, Monica, you work during the day. I'll take the night shift. That way we always switching out. So once I decided to go into insurance, that really opened it up, because now I work for myself. I set my own hours. I set my own hours. Insurance is something I have to be tethered to a desk for 8 hours a day. So now that really gives me more time to be with them. Like I enjoy now. I get up in the morning. Monica has to be at work first. So I'm the drop off parent. I love it. We get in the car, drop everybody off, and then you got your whole day. But if something were to happen where I need to get to Gavin, I can get to him like that. So being in the entrepreneurial life really opened up my work-life balance, because before it was, Monica get off at 3:30. I got to be at work at 5:30. So it's like the ship's passing the night thing,
Right.
We getting the kids home. Everybody make sure everybody eat. Everybody do their homework. And then I'm gone till 1:00 at night. Where now, man, we get to go on more vacations, man. We just get to hang out. It's not a thing of, if you got something at school, I got to go to my supervisor. Hey, man, my son has a program at noon. Can I take my lunch and, do all that stuff? And, it just freed up my life a lot more. And I'm really appreciative of it, man. Really appreciative of it.
So, would you advise, if you wanted to start to be an entrepreneur, what would be the first thing you would advise somebody to do?
First thing, man, is do a lot of research before you jump out the window. I mean, check out how you need to get licensed, what you need to get from the state, what you need to do if what you need to do requires a license, costs for everything, because everybody, it sounds great to say, I'm my own boss. I do this. I work for myself. I do this. It's great, but it's very stressful starting it out, because, it was hard for me, even when I was working for Banker's Life with an umbrella, to get myself out of the 9-to-5 mindset. Like I would keep asking my boss, like, hey, I'm gonna go take a break. He was like, you don't have to tell me what you're doing. Just go. And I'm like, oh, okay. But then when I branched out, man, it's like being your own boss, man, it comes making a lot of decisions, man. And it's, some of them you make gonna be great. Some of them you make gonna be bad, but right. It's all a learning curve. But definitely take your time, do your research, make sure this is what you want to do, because like I said, it has ebbs and flows. Some weeks are amazing, some weeks are okay, and some weeks just bad. But it's all about riding the wave, man. And I was Rick Ross said something that stuck with me when I first started out. I saw it. He was on somebody's show, and he said, I don't want to move fast. I want to move correctly. And that's the key. Move correctly as opposed to moving fast, because moving fast can make you make a lot of decisions that you can come back to bite you in the butt, and you're eventually going to regret. So I would say take your time, do as much research as you can. And if it's an industry, people that are in, reach out. You know, hey man, how did you start your office? How did you start your store? How did you start this? What did you do? How did you do this? Like, I mean, just even as simple as you, like, I want to start a podcast. I don't have any idea what these lights are. Like I said, I have a mic and I have a computer. That's it. You know, but I can say, okay, Chris had this, Chris had that, and I need to do this. But don't be afraid to ask, because 9 times out of 10, people would be willing to share with you what they've gone through. Like, I've just linked up, and there's so much in the city, man, like with the African American.
Oh my God.
I just linked up with that. And, you know, I'm in the process of they're going to provide me a mentor, you know, and that's huge, man, because it can be so frustrating when you feel like you scrambling around in the dark and you get to a point where you can't figure it out and you don't know what to do and you just stuck, you know. So then when you have a person, you can, okay, man, when I did this, what you need to do here is this, then do this, then do that. Oh, and then it's never as bad as it sounds, but to have somebody walk you through it, it's invaluable, man. Like, that's what I would say. Get a mentor, take your time. And if you have a job, I would say if you have a job now, because people say, you know, oh, I'm about to jump out the window and do it. Nah, if you have a job that's paying you every 2 weeks, run that thing out as long as you can until the entrepreneurial thing you're doing is bringing you close to that income, because it's very stressful not doing it that way. I speak from experience, and especially if you're doing something in sales, because sales can be iffy.
Yeah.
So make sure you have something saved up. Make sure if you're in a relationship, make sure you talk through the process with the person you're in a relationship with, because they're going to be your soundboard. They're going to be the person to see you happy, sad, and
truth be told, it might be, I can't handle what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I gotta go.
Because it's not for everybody. Because I tell you, it's to be a husband and tell your wife, hey, I'm going out on my own to sell life insurance, and you run into a week or two and you don't have any policies coming, but you got groceries, you got bills, you got mortgage, you got everything, you know. And that's why you need to make sure you have a person that's in your corner that understands what you're doing, understands why you're doing it, and is willing to help you do it. Because like I said, everything in my life, my wife is ingrained in it somewhere. You know, like my office, I'm currently moving my office, but everything I have in my office, my wife picked out. Because like I tell people, only thing I picked out of my office was a TV, and I think that's it. Yeah, my TV,
just the TV
and a printer. That's it. Everything else, because I'm saying I already need a desk and some chairs. My wife, she go find something like, oh, that is nice, you know. Right. So, you know,
right.
So make sure you have a person. Make sure you have a strong support system. I'll say that. Make sure you have a strong support system.
Okay. Last question.
Okay.
You brought up Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know I'm a Marvel head.
Yes.
You
yes.
know I'm a Marvel head.
Yes, sir.
Top 5 favorite Marvel movies.
Top 5?
No particular order.
Okay, no particular order.
No particular order.
Okay. Black Panther, because
yeah.
Endgame, because the end scene of Endgame, I was talking to Caleb about this. I think that might be the best scene in a movie I've ever seen. The ending when Cap got the hammer.
Yeah, when
the portals open. Oh man, that last scene! I can watch that now and still give me chills like I'd never seen it before.
I was so hyped.
Man, so I got 2 Black Panther, Endgame. I kind of want to lump all the Avengers together because I can't really pick my favorite one. Oh man, I don't know if I can do. Okay,
you said Black Panther.
I'll give you the Avengers trilogy.
I'll give you the Avengers trilogy.
Is that no? He's not a Marvel movie.
He may as well be. He's a Sony movie, but he's a Marvel character.
I'll throw Deadpool in there.
Okay,
just because it's hilarious. I will say my favorite Marvel movie is Thor Ragnarok. That's my favorite one. I don't know why, but it's hilarious to me. And Thor is my favorite, but Thor Ragnarok is when the Hulk comes out and he's like, I know him from work. I was done.
Right.
And in the beginning, when the guy said, this is a horrible decision, and Thor said, I make bad decisions all the time. It's like, so if I gotta pick one more, just for Civil War. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'll go Civil War. Yep. Because Black Panther was in that one.
Everybody was in that one except for
Spider-Man popped up in that one. I think so. Yeah. Underoos, yes. That's my favorite.
Yeah, everybody was in there except for Hulk.
I'm so disappointed what they did to my dude at the last movie, man. It's like, you can't end this without the Hulk going. I mean, you let Thanos beat him up. And Thanos beat him up, and now he's the smart guy. Like, come on, man. You can't let the Hulk go out like this.
They had to do something.
Yeah.
They had to do something. He couldn't be a mindless brute for the whole set.
But just give him one. Just give him one time to go crazy.
I'm gonna geek out for a hot second.
What's that?
You mentioned Thor Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. That was supposed to be Planet Hulk.
Yes.
I'm upset that they didn't do Planet Hulk.
Aren't they supposed to be though?
They did an animated movie and they're trying to include it in the Illuminati
the Hulk's
stuff.
Been tricky though, man, because the first two Hulk movies, the first one was trash.
Oh my God, it was horrible.
The one that was like, well, he gets bigger when he gets mad. No, he don't.
He doesn't. He just gets.
He's the Hulk. He's angry. He doesn't get bigger. The second one with Edward Norton was good, but I feel like they didn't nail it until they got Ruffalo. Then that's when the Hulk got good. And it's like, now you had two bad movies. Now he needs one, but it's like, So yeah, I definitely think they need to do it. They need to do something with the Hulk. Even if they give him a series, man, like Loki.
Yeah.
But Strange though.
I'm gonna check it out.
Amazing.
I'm gonna check it out.
I'm gonna tell you this, Wanda.
I read the comic. That's why I asked you about the Marvel movies. Mm-hmm. I read Infinity War. I read Infinity Gauntlet. I read Civil War 1 and 2. Yep. I've read all of them.
Yep. But see, the crazy thing, I never really got. What got me into comic books was, you remember when we was younger, the X-Men cartoon?
The one that used to come on Saturday morning on Fox?
That's the one. And I'm still waiting on the Gambit movie. Because Gambit was my favorite X-Men. Him and Wolverine. I mean, but it's so much they need to do.
Right.
But they got time now. But it's one of those things also. It's like, well, you shot it so high. You got to do I mean, it's not, you never going to reach this, right. You never top this, but yeah, so I think that's my top 5. Yeah.
Respectable.
I would say honorable mention. I give the first Iron Man just because Robert Downey Jr. is perfect for Iron Man. I mean,
the typecast. Yeah. Nobody.
Yeah.
Could play those characters.
Like, I always thought the Captain America movies was boring to me. Civil War was good because it wasn't just him. Then the Winter Soldier, it was good because of Bucky. I never really got into Cap's movie.
Cap was a boring character.
Yeah, but I get it.
But he's Captain America.
Yeah, I get it. He's a Leonardo with a group. I get it.
Right, true.
I got a sword, but I don't use it. I got a sword, but I never use it. But hey.
Right. Well, Ty, the insurance guy. I appreciate.
Man, I appreciate you, man.
Across the table from me.
I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your episode, the sober edition of Across the Table, where the water is cold, the mics are hot, and the conversations are always fire.
Yes, sir.
Till we meet again in a minute.